Hey there, friends. What's going on? My name is Eric George. I'm one of the pastors here at the Orchard, Oxford. Grateful to spend this time with you today. So here's the big question. In the chaos of your life, how do you remember that God is with you and that He is faithful? I think that's a question we have to wrestle with, and it's actually probably one that we simmer on more times than not. Today we're going to be looking at Genesis 46 and 47. So give you just a quick context. We have this guy by the name of Jacob. He's in his later years in life, and he's in a predicament. The land that he's living in is in a famine. There's no food. His family's in jeopardy. If they don't get food, many of them will die. And he has this vision that God needs to send him to Egypt, where there's a land there in Egypt that there will be plenty of food. And here's this strange twist of events, how God works in our lives. Jacob, for years, has mourned the loss of his second youngest son, Joseph. But what Jacob doesn't realize is that Joseph is alive. He's alive. That in this strange twist of events, his brothers years ago sold him into slavery. He makes his way down to Egypt, and then all of a sudden he comes into power. He literally becomes the second most powerful person in all of Egypt. So Jacob's going to get food for his family in Egypt, and he's going to be blessed to be able to see his son, his second youngest son, who he's not seen in years. With that in mind, let's read here. Kind of a key verse to simmer on is Genesis 46, verses 1 through 4. So Jacob set out for Egypt with all of his possessions, and when he came to Beersheba, he offered sacrifices to the God of his father, Isaac. During the night, God spoke to him in a vision. Jacob, Jacob, he called. Here I am, Jacob replied. I am God, the God of your father. The voice said, do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for there I will make your family into a great nation. I will go with you down to Egypt, and I will bring you back again. You will die in Egypt, but Joseph will be with you to close your eyes. The key word that sticks out in these four verses, it may not be a word that you would simmer on, is the word Beersheba. Beersheba is significant for Jacob as well as for his father Isaac and his grandfather Abraham. Both of them have had these key moments in Beersheba where they've experienced God's presence. You know, the name Beersheba literally means the well of the oath. And it's at this location that they remember God's faithfulness. They can see that He's worked in the present and in the past. And surely that God will be faithful in this moment to move in Jacob's story in the near future. You even caught that in those few verses that we read. Jacob is learning a lesson that we got to learn over and over and over again. The way forward is backwards. Let me say that again. The way forward is always backwards. God wants Jacob to remember at Beersheba that, hey, I want you to remember my faithfulness in the past so that you can trust me in the present and also begin to lean into me as we move into the future, that I will be faithful to deliver you, to give you exactly what you need. The way forward is often backwards. So how do we practice getting to Beersheba? How do we find ourselves remembering God's faithfulness in the past, which only empowers us in the present and the future? Well, I'm mindful of Jesus when even He prays. He gives us the Lord's Prayer. And He starts out and He says this, start with these words. Holy is your name, Lord. When we look at the holiness of God and His faithfulness, we can't help but want to say, let your will be done. And I think one of the most practical ways to do that is, have you ever made a gratitude list? It's really simple. It's just an opportunity for you in the chaos of life to write all the ways down on paper where God has worked in the past, that you can see His holiness and His protection and His presence with you, that you can't help but say, in the midst of this tragedy or this circumstance in my life, God will be faithful to move in the future. I have friends who go to Beersheba often. I have one friend who literally wakes up every morning before the sun comes up, and he'll write a gratitude list, and he would tell you that that gratitude list is game-changing in his day. Sometimes he texts them to me, and it just makes me smile. I've had friends, even recently, that have gone through health scares, and they've texted me, and they've said, I remember how God brought me out of this thing in the past, and I'm trusting Him in the present. Today, you and I, we have a moment, an opportunity to go to Beersheba, and I can't urge you enough to go there. Go to the place where it'll be the well of the oath, that you'll see one of the greatest oaths that God has given you is his son, Jesus. Friends, his name's Emmanuel, the God who is with us today. And whatever you're going through, whatever it is, in the chaos, remember in your Beersheba moments, in your gratitude moments, that God is with you, that he has worked in the past. He can be trusted in the present. And friends, he will continue to walk with you in the future no matter how it looks. Thanks for our time together today. Excited as we continue on, and we're about ready to near and land the plane and end in the book of Genesis. See you.